Anything you'd like to say, Mr.
Mandy, Colin, is there anything you'd like to say about the verdict? Are you surprised by the verdict? How's she feeling, Colin?
Are you expecting to appeal, Mr. Mandy?
Are you appealing this verdict? Colin, how do you feel? Erin sat very
Is this a disappointing result for you?
And so, Georgie, what happens from here?
Well, next up, Ash, there is a procedural matter that needs to be dealt with that will be heard in Melbourne Supreme Court tomorrow afternoon. It's from here that we are expecting to get a little bit more clarity as to when we'll actually hear a sentencing date. But until then, the next matter is being held tomorrow. And from here, then we'll find out more details on where to from here for Erin Patterson, Ash.
Georgie Dixon, outside court in Morwell, thank you so much. Let's bring you some more reaction now. Joining us live is Anthony Dowsley, Herald Sun investigative reporter and Gold Walkley Award winner, who has been following the case. Anthony, as someone who has been following this so closely, what do you expect was the evidence that led the jury to deciding that this was murder and not just a tragic accident?
Well, as you say, the defence was that this was some form of tragic accident, but what would have been troubling for the jury is that Erin Patterson changed her story from not knowing, saying she never foraged, that she had never owned a dehydrator, and telling these stories to police, to at the start of this trial saying, well, yes, I am a forager, yes, I do own a dehydrator, I did then, and this was just a tragic mistake and I did this all out of panic. Lied to the police, lied to health officials, lied to medical staff. She turned up at the hospital 2 days after this lunch and she didn't appear sick. Her guests were very sick by that stage and going into comas. So there's stark differences between how Erin Patterson has reacted to having a poisoned lunch that she cooked to her guests, and that's got to be hard for the jury to deal with. And the other thing that Erin Patterson probably didn't expect, or certainly didn't expect, is that one of her guests survived, and they could tell the story about how Erin told them she had cancer after they'd finished their meals. It was a non-existent cancer, it was fake cancer, and why would anyone say that?
And that evidence from Ian, I mean, that was particularly significant, wasn't it? I would expect that for a jury member to hear from the sole surviving victim, that really would have hit home.
Yeah, a truthful witness, a pastor at the church, Ian Wilkinson, gave direct evidence as to what happened at that lunch, including making the statement that they were served. He had a grey plate and the other guests, his wife and his sister-in-law and brother-in-law, Don and Gail, had grey plates, larger grade plates, and Erin's was served on a tanny orange plate. And Erin Patterson said that evidence was incorrect when she got her chance to get onto the witness box. Ian Wilkinson would be a truthful witness. He's got a memory of what happened, and his survival may have been the difference, I would suggest.
Yeah, lives lost and other lives absolutely shattered. How is Ian? We know that Erin Patterson's ex-husband, Simon, was also invited to that lunch and didn't attend. And Erin Patterson has 2 children as well. Erin Patterson now heading away, no doubt, for life behind bars.
Well, as a convicted triple murderer, your prospects, and attempted murder, the prospects of ever seeing light again will be limited. For Erin Patterson, she will be taken away now, most likely to the Dame Phyllis Frost Centre, and a plea hearing, a date's yet to be called, but, you know, what can you say now? During this court case, there wasn't a family member that we ever saw that turned up to be there for her. There was really no one throughout since 2023, when this happened in July 2023. There's been no one talk up for her. As you saw just in those clips, there are supporters now that are her friends, and she has a power of attorney. But, you know, she is now going to spend the rest of her life behind bars.
Yeah, Anthony Dowsley, really appreciate you joining us with your insights. Thanks so much for joining us on that breaking news today. Appreciate it. And it was a marathon 10-week trial. Today's verdict does bring Some closure to a saga that began with that fateful lunch as Erin Patterson hosted her relatives a couple of years ago now in July 2023. Sky News has taken a look back at the case that really has captivated the nation.
Saturday, July 29, 2023, Erin Patterson hosted her former in-laws at a lunch in South Gippsland, southeast of Melbourne. 70-year-old Don and Gail Patterson attended, along with Gail's sister, 66-year-old Heather Wilkinson, and brother-in-law Ian Wilkinson. All 4 guests fall ill within 24 hours after eating a beef Wellington at the Leongatha home. Her estranged husband, Simon Patterson, declined his invitation.
On August 4, less than a week after the lunch, Gail Patterson and Heather Wilkinson died. Don Patterson also died the next day.
I'm devastated. I love them.
The then 68-year-old Ian Wilkinson, a local pastor at Kurumbarra Baptist Church, is released from ICU and transferred into a rehabilitation ward on September 11, 7 weeks after becoming sick.
He is the sole survivor of a lethal lunch.
The way is sometimes hard, but God is good.
It's not easy for him to be on his own.
I can't believe that this has happened and I'm so sorry.
August 4, 2023, Erin Patterson is arrested and charged.
Will she be fighting these charges, Mr. Doo?
It's early days.
Ms. Patterson has pleaded not guilty to 3 counts of murder.
She also faces 1 count of attempted murder.
Erin, is there anything you'd like to say?
Excuse me.
The trial began on April 29, 1 year and 9 months after the fateful lunch. The prosecution alleges Erin Patterson intentionally included death cap mushrooms in the meal. It points to Miss Patterson's search history, where she visited mushroom foraging sites, a food dehydrator purchased before the lunch which was then discarded, and inconsistencies in her claims she picked up mushrooms at a Melbourne Asian grocer. It also claims Miss Patterson faked being sick, used a different colour plate for herself, and remotely erased data on a mobile phone after police seized it. The prosecution alleged growing anger and resentment towards the Pattersons. Erin Patterson admitted in her evidence to the jury she lied to police officers when she told them she had never foraged for mushrooms.
Prosecutors allege Miss Patterson faked cancer to lure her lunch victims. The defence admits the cancer claim was a lie.
Miss Patterson's defence says the deaths were accidental. It claims she used a mix of store-bought and foraged mushrooms without knowing how toxic they are. Miss Patterson claims she was also sick after the meal and she loved her in-laws. The defence claims the dehydrator was thrown away because Miss Patterson was scared of being blamed, not because she wanted to get rid of the evidence.
3 final questions. 3 firm denials. I suggest that you deliberately sourced death cap mushrooms in 2023. I suggest that you deliberately included them in the beef Wellington you served Donald Patterson, Gail Patterson, Ian Wilkinson and Heather Wilkinson, and you did so intending to kill them. Agree or disagree? Miss Patterson, disagree, disagree, disagree.
Jack Nyhoff, Sky News.
With her weight and her body image. And the 4th deception that the prosecution alleged was the sustained cover-up for concealing the truth. She disposed of a dehydrator that she'd used to dehydrate the death cap mushrooms that she picked. She had her phone wiped, and she lied and admitted to lying to the police, saying that she had panicked at the time. The victims were Erin Patterson's mother and father-in-law and the sister of her mother-in-law. Rosemary.
All right, thanks to Ivan Watson bringing us that live report from Hong Kong. Appreciate it.
Now to Morwell in Victoria. We're listening here to Detective Inspector Dean Thomas after Erin Patterson was found guilty of murder.
I'd like to thank specialist services that have assisted us throughout the course of this investigation. I'd also like to acknowledge and thank the Office of Public Prosecutions, the prosecution team in particular, for the work that they have put in the lead up to this trial and obviously during this trial. I think it's very important that we remember that we've had 3 people. 3 people have died, and we've had a person that nearly died and was seriously injured as a result, and that has led to these charges. I ask that we acknowledge those people and not forget them. I ask also that the Patterson family and Wilkinson family have asked for privacy during this time, and I ask that the media please respect that. And I have nothing further to say, and I won't be taking any questions. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The lead inspector there, Dean Thomas, pleading for privacy from the huge media crowd that has gathered there, not just today for the verdict, but throughout this 10-week trial in the small regional town of Morwell in Victoria. We will continue to bring you any more reaction that comes through from Morwell to that guilty verdict for Erin Patterson throughout the afternoon and evening here on Sky News.